We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Welcome back, everybody. This is First Look. This is the Coastal News' episode where we look at the week ahead on My5 and look at the episodes that are going to be airing this week and try and work out from the cryptic clues from the synopsis what's going to be happening. So that's what we're going to do. Hi, Si.
Hello, you okay?
Hello. Yes, thanks to you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, ready for some
Good.
cryptic clues.
Ready for some cryptic analysis, starting some conspiracy theories on the internet, which we seem to be doing weekly at the moment. Like, oh, I think this might be about this. And then a week later, we're like, oh, it wasn't about that at all. Okay, never mind. It's all good intentions, isn't it? But
Oh, what is a podcast host to do? This
exactly.
nonsense sometimes.
Oh gosh, I know. How about an episode number then? Hit me.
7992.
Jesus, on the money.
For once in my
Spot on.
life, I
You
did.
weren't cheating.
Hmm?
You weren't cheating.
No.
No, okay. In that case, you get a bottle of Prosecco.
Oh yay!
You win. You win. Episode number 7992. That is where we pick up this week on the My5, not My5, 5-star even, the channel. You can watch on My5, that's the app.
Yeah.
But on 5-star, we watch at the 6:30 p.m. pace, don't we? We tweet along with the episodes. So join in the conversation, but that's the pace that we go at. So Monday's episode on 5-star at 6:30. Felicity wants commitment, but does Tane? Ooh, so they're at the farm, aren't they, right now with Gary?
Yeah, does she? So is he being reluctant, starting things up again? I wonder.
Well, he was asking some decent questions, wasn't he? He was saying, right, okay, so you want me back, you love me, you want a relationship with me, but what does that actually mean? You know, are you going to move in with me? Are we going to get married? What do we call? We had all these plans. What happened to those plans? Where do we go?
So throughout the whole relationship, he's spent it driving the plans, hasn't he? You know, he wants the family life, he wants to get married. Maybe, and you can't blame him for seizing this opportunity, but maybe he just sort of lays it all out and says, well, you say you're ready. You said you were ready last time. This is what I want, and I need reassurances off you. And I wouldn't blame him if he did that.
No, in fact, I'd applaud him if he did that, because
Yeah.
I think we were saying a couple of weeks ago, Tane, to his credit and his discredit, he puts people first before himself. It makes him a bit of a doormat when it comes to Flick. He kind of bends over backwards, lets her go wild, shout and scream in his face, throw her ring in his face, and yet he's still talking to her. He's not going F you, lady.
Yeah.
He's still asking her, are you okay? How's things? So I think I wouldn't blame him if he suddenly said, okay, I'll get back with you, but you need to go to counselling, or you need to address your drink problem, or we need to go to couples therapy, or whatever it is.
He'd be a fool not to.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll have to see what he actually agrees to do next week. Oh, Tane, please step up. Anyway, Brie deliberates motherhood without Remy, so she's still not telling him about this baby.
That sounds like she's debating keeping the baby as well. She sort of rose in tonight's 5-star episode that she's not decided whether she's going to go ahead with the pregnancy.
Yes.
It's going to turn into like an abortion type debate.
Yes.
Which I'm not quite sure this storyline needed. I'm on the fence about at the minute.
Yeah. It's a pro-choice, anti-life, all that. Oh, God.
So
it's very dark.
She's considering bringing baby Jacob up and really not even running it through Remy, really, that there's a chance, albeit slim, could be his.
And she won't know until the baby's born. So whatever she decides now, so if she decides to keep the baby, have the baby, she won't actually know it's Jacob's until it's born. So if she doesn't want to tell Remy, she's either keeping him in the dark about the fact that she slept with Jacob and she's potentially carrying his child, or she's keeping him in the dark about him potentially having, a child.
Well,
and him having no say in that situation.
This is going to be a storyline that's going to dominate the podcast, I think, going forward. And I think
I'm a bit scared about this.
Yeah, I am, because I don't know how I'm going to react.
No.
Depending on which way it goes,
how they film it. If this is done really insensitively.
Oh God, just better thinking about.
I know. I mean, I've got personal opinions on this whole debate, but how do they actually execute it? I don't know.
Cross that bridge when we come to it, Sophie, I think. Oh God.
Okay, let's move on. So Eden comes to Remy's defense. Do you think this is about the one night stand that wasn't actually a one night stand? Because obviously Bree, rightly or wrongly, she's seen Remy say goodbye to some random woman in the morning on his doorstep, and she's gone, right, she stayed there last night, which anybody would come to that conclusion on just seeing that little bit of evidence. But she's not given him a chance to explain what actually happened, has she, before coming to this conclusion? So what really happened was this girl flung herself at Remy, invited herself back to his house, but at some point when they got home, and she was kind of eating him alive, wasn't she? She was really kissing him and going at him, and he's had that moment of clarity and gone, do you know what, I'm not up for a one night stand. I'm actually in love with someone and my heart's broken and this is a really stupid thing to do. Come to his senses and said to her, I can't do this. She's flipped out at this point and said, oh, well, you've brought me back to your house. What did you expect? Where am I supposed to go now? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, right, you can stay over if you can't get home. But all Bree has seen is that morning after, where they've clearly slept on it. They're not as drunk in the morning. She's gone away happy. They've kissed on the cheek. It's not even a snog. It's a kiss on the cheek, isn't it? It's nothing to write home about. Mm-hmm. But Bree thought, okay, well, I've told him yesterday we're over, and today he slept with someone else. So,
yeah, she's written him off, as old Remy.
We can see why, can't we?
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, you could. Yeah, based on what she's seen, but she's jumped conclusions and she's got things in her ears. It sounds like Eden is probably butting in because her friend is spiraling.
Yes.
And she's probably butting in.
Yeah.
And saying something.
Why wouldn't you? I would if it was my friend. I mean, I would do exactly what Eden had done and say, you've given Remy a disservice there. He's told me what happened. And if you had the minute to give him the chance to say his piece, you would hear it. He's not done anything wrong. He's not cheated on Bree, because, he was told in categorical terms, we are over, get over it. I don't want this. I don't want you. So it's not like they're, a couple of weeks ago I would have said, oh, he's crossed the line there because it was a will they, won't they. Just give me some space, to let me come round. If he'd done it then, I'd have been like, he's cheated on her, because they haven't officially said this is over.
Yeah.
We are on a break. I wouldn't have said that 2 weeks ago, but they are definitely on a break right now, I think. What do you think?
Yeah. I think even if he did it, it's absolutely none of her business.
No, it's not.
And it's nowhere near as bad as what she's doing to him.
It's not.
It's black and white for me.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. Well, we're both agreed on that one.
Yeah.
Moving on, Justin and Leah clash over parenting. So this is going to be Ava and Theo, isn't it?
Said this, haven't we? We've said this is going to come between them next. When we were discussing on the podcast yesterday, we said this is going to start to come between them. We've already seen it, sort of its effects on Justin and Leah's relationship. So I expected that to unfold this week.
Yeah, definitely. And then, sort of following on from that, we've got a line that says, Ruth finds disturbing photos of Ava. So do you think these are the photos of her with his shirt on, half off the shoulder, lying on Theo's bed?
Yeah, it's got to be on it.
Because what other photos could it be of? Because all the photos we've seen, apart from that one that she took of herself, they're all of Theo in that scrapbook, aren't they? So I don't think those are disturbing photos of Ava.
Did she take them on her own phone?
She did, yeah.
So what's Rue doing going through her phone?
That's a good question. Unless she's printed them out and put them in a new scrapbook. I don't know. That's a good question.
What's Rue playing at here? It's nothing to...
She's crossing the line, isn't she? But I think this is why I kind of see where Justin's coming from when he was really upset the other day and he was like, Rue, you're just spying on my daughter and that's not what I pay you for. He's absolutely right. They are paying her to tutor Ava, but she's using it to report back to Leah and say, oh, yeah, she's still got a crush on Theo and yes, she was still gutted about him leaving. And yeah, she's... Oh, I see why she's doing it and I see why Leah's asking her to do it, but it's a bit uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like the way they've gone about this, especially people of Rue and Leah's age. They should know better, really.
And it's not Leah's daughter, it's Justin's daughter.
I know, it just doesn't sit right, does it?
No.
As bad as it is.
If it was the other way around, imagine, when Theo came to town last year and he was a right tearaway. We talked about it on the main pod yesterday, but he's had a 360 on his journey. He was a right tearaway last year. He stole the Polaris, he did all those buried alive, he did all these pranks and stuff. If Justin had tried to pay someone to spend time with him to basically get information on him and then take that to Leah would have been fuming, wouldn't she? Oh, you're spying on my nephew.
Yeah.
So this is a bit uncomfortable, I think.
Double standards. Yeah.
It is a little bit, yeah, but we know what they're like as a couple. This is how they work. Tane and Felicity have cause for celebration. Oh, okay.
They're working it out.
That's good. Okay, so that's...
I just hope he's happy with the terms. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Has he read the small print? Yeah.
Because I don't know. Can she just change overnight? Anyway, yeah.
Generally, people don't, but in a soap, anything's possible, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I worry, and I always will now, considering how long this has gone on for.
Well, this is Tuesday, so by the end of Tuesday, they got cause for celebration. So on Wednesday, Ava's seduction photos rattle Justin.
Seduction photos.
Oh, sorry. I think it is these photos she took in his room. But the fact that Rue's found them and took them to Justin immediately, that's making me feel a bit...
Sent them to Rue by accident or something.
Maybe. Oh, it's making me feel really awkward.
I want to see what happens with that now. So even though I've slagged it off and said, "Oh God," I want to
see the drama.
Yeah, I want to see what goes on.
You know what? Actually, it's nice. We've been saying for ages that Rue's a bit of a floater. I know that sounds awful, but she just follows Alf around. She just, she follows him around the caravan park or the bake shop or whatever. She doesn't have a purpose. She sits in the diner all day drinking tea. She doesn't do anything until she was tutoring Heather. Then after Heather, she decided she didn't want to tutor anymore because Heather's taught her a lesson, etc. Then there was the community kitchen, which lasted about a week. And then the golf thing, which lasted about a week. So apart from that, Rue's not had a lot of stories of her own, but at least she has got a reason to be in the storyline because she's tutoring Ava. So it's kind of nice in a way to give Rue a purpose. Yeah. She's not just sitting in the diner drinking tea and talking to her dad, you know what I mean, which gets a bit repetitive after a while. But
that's true, but yeah, she's getting too involved though.
She's probably overstepping the tutor line, isn't she? Anyway. Yep. Kirby puts Ava in her place. Oh, now we've seen a couple of run-ins with these two, haven't we already? And I've already said to you that I feel it's a bit strange for Kirby as an adult to be so harsh.
She's not believable, is it? Completely unbelievable. Yeah, in every way, because she's a child. She's got crush. Okay, it's a bit serious, isn't it? There's pictures and things, but Kirby comes at it from this jealous lover angle, and it
Yes.
doesn't work at all. You know,
I think it's the age difference, isn't it? If it was another girl that was around Kirby's age and she was saying to her, back off, he's my boyfriend, I still think it was weird, I'll be honest, but I could kind of forgive it because they'd be like, well, they're both adults. You know, they can scrap as much as they want to over this bloke. Whether he's worth it or not is debatable. But the fact that Ava is 16 years old and Kirby is 20-something, it just feels a bit odd.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't sit right at all. There's no way you would speak in that situation IRL. You would speak to somebody of that age. You'd go through their parents.
It's not just that. I think for me, it's like if Kirby's that insecure in her relationship, there must be some part of her, unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever you want to say it, that thinks that there's a possibility that Ava and Theo could, hook up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why would you just dismiss it? Wouldn't you just be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. She's 16." He wouldn't look at her. He's an adult. Why would he look at a 16-year-old? So there must be something.
Yeah, when it first sort of cropped up, we said as is it the whole Bob experience?
Yes.
Something in the relation. Yeah, I remember us saying that now. Yeah. That is an important point to make because it demonstrates it probably says more about Kirby than it does Ava.
Yes, it does. Definitely, yeah. Let's watch that one then. Okay. Is history repeating for Mackenzie? Oh God, this is going to be a Gabe.
I've read what happens here.
Have you?
Yeah, we might move on.
Okay, well that's all it says. It's very cryptic. So is history repeating for Mackenzie? So history is basically that she picks men that
No. Think about it.
She gets invested with men, doesn't she? And then they move on with other people, like Ari.
No, it's talking about some very specific history that she's got with Gabe.
The money. The money situation. Because what I know about them two together was they were planning to get married. He got paid off by her dad and said, here's was it 50 grand?
Something like that. But then what did he do?
What did he do after he got the 50 grand?
Well, he ran.
He ran away. Yeah, he legged it. He took the 50 grand. The 50 grand was take this and leave.
So is history repeating itself?
So do we think, what, is Mac's dad back in the picture? Or is he, siphoning money off the business? I'm so confused. You know what's happening, and I have absolutely no idea. So I've got,
I'm not going to tell you either. I quite enjoying you try and guess.
I'll probably see it on a hashtag, but at the moment I'm like, I'm happy not to know. Oh dear. As long as he dies at some point, I'll be happy. So sorry, Gabe, but I think you're a dick. Anyway. Moving on. Marley is Mackenzie's shoulder to cry on. Oh dear, this doesn't look good. I was wondering about this actually because this week when Dean he went to Seoul, didn't he, to tell Mac. He'd already had the conversation with Marley. He said, the surfboard shop is yours. I don't want anything for it. I'm moving to Queensland. End of story. I need to tell Mac though, so keep it on the down low. And then when he actually went to tell Mac was in that sort of absolute spiral of, okay, Gabe's gone for this appointment at the hospital. I've not heard from him. I don't know if he's okay. And she just outpoured all of this like meltdown on him, didn't she? She was like, "Oh, Dean, I don't know where he is," and he's there to go, "I'm going to Queensland tomorrow," and he just chickens out, doesn't he? And Marley sees all of this because Marley knows both sides of the coin, doesn't he? He sees.
Yeah.
So I thought at this point, because we've been talking about Marley being, I don't want to say a Dean replacement because I think that sounds really cold, but he's stepping into Dean's shoes, certainly from the board shop perspective. During the scene, I was thinking, do you think he's going to take on Mac for Dean as well, like the responsibility of Mac? And because he
outright, doesn't he?
He does, but before that, he was like, I think he was looking at it from the perspective of how, because we keep hearing about Marley having all these sisters. He understands family, family's really important. He said that to Dean, didn't he, this week? Because Dean said, my kid's moving to Queensland. And I think Marley said something like, family's everything. So, of course, you've got to go. So we're being drilled this storyline of Marley's a family man. He gets it. He, siblings, relationships, etc. He gets it. So in the back of my mind, when this scene was playing out, when Mac was having this meltdown and Marley was like watching it, I was like, Marley's going to step into Dean's shoes in more than just the business. He's going to be Mac's figurative brother. Yeah, like a sort of a Dean replacement in terms of brother relationship as well, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm here for it, actually. I think he's going to be, the early signs suggest he's going to be good for that.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so she's gone crying to Marley. Theo shatters Ava's dreams and Justin goes into protective overdrive.
Yeah, lets her down. He kicks off. That's a given.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's going to be lots of that next week.
I think so. A lot of Ava. Oh, God. I don't think I've got the energy for it, but we'll see. Oh, and then, so that was the Thursday. So Theo shatters Ava's dreams and Justin goes into protective mode, overdrive. And then the Friday, Justin goes into protective father mode and Theo makes a desperate play to get a hold of Ava. Okay. What does that mean?
That makes it sound like she goes missing or something.
Oh, okay. Literally get a hold of her. Okay. Yeah, so she runs away. So he's come down on her hard and said, not happening, love. I'm with Kirby, you're 16, or whatever the speech is going to be.
It's going to be really juvenile. Like, the only person I'll speak to is Theo.
Yeah, well, she's already run away from home once, hasn't she? Because she's lives with her mum normally. She's run away from there, come to the Bay after a fallout with her mum about her being online, on Instagram too much, or TikTok or whatever. So for then Theo to say, not interested, you're a child, she's run away from home again, essentially, isn't she? And prove that she's a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it?
I'm going to find this tedious by the end of the week, I can tell.
I'll be honest, I don't hate this storyline, and I get why people are asking for it. Like I said in the main episode, I think we, on the hashtag, this is what the writers are giving us, because people are saying we need more foster stories, we need more broken homes, we need more troubled teenagers. That's what the Babe is built on. And I get it. I'm not one of the people that needs that storyline. So I'm not feeling particularly attached to this storyline, I'll be honest. Are you?
No. Especially if it's going to end up causing trouble for I don't enjoy Justin and Leah.
No, arguing.
And I think I'm struggling to connect with Kirby's stance. So it sounds like we're going to have a lot of it, though. If it resolves it, I'll happily get through it. But bracing myself.
Brace yourself, yeah. And then the last line of the week is a bit of a strange one for me, and I'll see how you react to this. So John turns his ire on Marley.
Turns his what?
Ire, like anger, wrath, unhappiness.
Yeah.
So he's unhappy, he turns it on Marley. It sounds like Marley's not the intended, object of the wrath or the anger or whatever it is. So,
is what you were talking about with the whole not seeing Dean off.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
Marley's like crossing out Ben's name on the board, isn't he, with a marker and things? And
yeah, like literally replacing Dean before John's eyes. This was weird, actually, wasn't it? John not being at the goodbye. We've mentioned this on the main pod. Why wasn't John there? Where was he?
Yeah, there was nothing else happening in his storyline to suggest he was anywhere else. So what was the...
As far as we know, the last time we saw John, he was driving Nico to the airport, wasn't he? Nico and Bella to the airport.
He's not come back yet.
How long's that drive?
Driven to New York.
He's driven to Queensland. Oh dear.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of of what that is. Marley's coming and he's writing on A-boards, isn't he, his name, and he's making changes, he's consolidating, you know.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And if you remember, Alf didn't even get his papers off him in the end.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he hasn't submitted his papers to the Surf Club committee yet.
Photocopied his passport.
Oh, okay. Fireworks ahead, I think.